$13-15 on him.
Oh, well, I don't feel bad because I put a penny on Yeah.
I need it, man.
You
With
put a
my
penny on a second-string wide receiver in Houston?
hey,
Yeah. Because
You're
nobody
cheap.
else was going to pick him up, I didn't think. Dillon sure as hell didn't need him, and I had 2 open roster spots. I should have
Jay,
got
who's
him.
the host of Fantasy Files?
Me.
That's why he's able to grab him. No.
oh, it was well worth it. And heck, I may only be able to use him for this week, but in a situation where there's plenty of bye weeks, plenty of injuries, and I've got Juju to deal with, could definitely use some firepower. That is Will Fuller.
And I don't even think Mason Rudolph is going to be playing the next month. He didn't even know where he was after he woke up from unconsciousness.
Exactly. I mean, you might as well throw that in with the injury news. Mason Rudolph has already been ruled out for this weekend, Sunday night versus the Chargers. Yeah, potentially longer than this coming week. So Devlin Hodges steps in. I'm not sure how much you guys know about Mr. Hodges.
I know a little bit, but not much.
Was he a track athlete back in the day? Perhaps a pig wrangling champion back in his hometown?
No. Actually, he's a converted wide receiver to QB. His college coach noticed he had an arm.
Another Tannehill.
Yeah. He used to be a wide receiver, so maybe they got some trick plays they could do in Pittsburgh and all that. They like Antoine Randall L. Little name drop there.
I love it.
But, I mean, I don't know. Antoine Randall L. played wide receiver from QB, not wide receiver to QB. So maybe they can work with it till Ben gets back, but I don't think Ben's coming back this year.
Yeah, I don't think so either. In more injury news, I believe Hunter Henry is listed as questionable but likely to play versus the Steelers Sunday night. If you've been waiting on Hunter Henry, go ahead and stick him in your lineup. Otherwise, in DFS, I wouldn't be looking for any sort of big performance out of the guy. He's been nicked up all year long. And Devin Bush, Minka Fitzpatrick, they're going to be out there in coverage. And, well, speaking of injury news, actually, speaking of the Steelers, Steven Nelson has been ruled out for this game. So, former first-round pick, disappointment, Artie Burns steps in to replace him. And you've got Mark Barron, middle linebacker, ruled out as well. So we'll see. Austin Eckler, Mike Williams returns to action. Hunter Henry, we'll see what, obviously Keenan Allen, what type of work those guys can do. Melvin Gordon, also, according to Coach Anthony Lynn, looking for an expanded role this week. I think the Steelers, with that front seven, are actually pretty stingy against the run. If I'm going to be exact, I will let you know that right now the Steelers are giving up 19 fantasy points per game to the running back. So you can do worse than Melvin Gordon this week. But I think that about does it for injury news. Let's jump into the meat and potatoes of the matchups. Let's start with the early game.
Can I ask a quick question?
You may not. No, go ahead.
Oh, wow. God. Substitute teacher's a dick.
Getting
do I want
pissy in here.
I know. Do I want to play Jared Cook, or should I look at a underrated name of like a Josh Oliver for Jacksonville?
You know what, man? I was dealing with that in a couple of my leagues because I stream tight end as well. I was looking at Jared Cook, who has, I believe, 6 targets in the last 4 games, which, hasn't been converted
They're
into...
slowly going up for Teddy, though. Teddy's starting to notice him a little more.
Right, and he had a touchdown last week.
Yeah.
So against Jacksonville, I don't think it's a bad play, but a guy who I picked up, maybe it's sneaky, maybe it's not, Jeremy Sprinkle of the Washington Redskins. Now that
Sprinkle on the ice cream. All right.
Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis have both been ruled out, Sprinkle takes on the woeful Miami Dolphins this week in what is projected to be, and this is serious now, I've read this statistically, historically, it's going to be literally the worst rated game, I think, in decades. There's a grade given to every projected game week by week on the schedule, and this one literally received a 0.0. So we'll see what happens. Right now, Case Keenum's set to start.
Flatline.
But maybe, with with interim coach Bill Callahan stepping in, the old 90s pound the rock, attitude coming back in the mix. Adrian Peterson's supposed to get more carries.
Peterson
we'll
also
see.
said there's a different culture through the whole practice, the locker room, everything. After Gruden was cut, he said that there's been a whole new just attitude for this team, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Washington come out and get a big win.
Josh Norman said the same thing.
What I don't understand is how Jay Gruden wasn't fired after he admitted that he just didn't want to run 80s Adrian Peterson, because he just didn't want to run that offense because it wasn't.
He even said he was trying to get out of
playbook.
the team before that. It wasn't even him. It was the
Just like, what
ownership
the hell?
keeping him around.
Dude,
Yeah.
when you run power with AP at 34 years old, he still gets like 3.5 yards carry.
Yeah, I think that says a lot about how dysfunctional this team has been for a long time. And the fact that, the front office and the head coach couldn't even agree on which
Bruce
quarterback
Allen
they wanted
sucks.
to take this year. Obviously all the reports are out now. Gruden did not want Haskins. Apparently he wanted Danny Dimes. And the ownership wanted Haskins partially because the freaking guy went to school with someone's daughter. I don't even – it's a whole ridiculous storyline.
Dwayne Haskins apparently had, by rumor, folks, not confirming this, but in the first week of training camp, go back and look, Dwayne Haskins was getting second string, first string, like reps with the offense, with the ones and the twos. A rumor came out during that time, and it just disappeared after that. But I remember it coming out, and it said that Dwayne Haskins and Jay Gruden's daughter had a relationship off the football field. And once that happened, Jay Gruden moved him right back to the back of the line, right behind Colt McCoy.
I've got to tell you, man, I see a guy like that over there standing with my niece, and I don't like it. I don't like the guy standing over there doing things with my niece like that, man. He's just standing in the pocket, delivering shots right down the middle.
Yeah. I mean, Jay.
That was priceless.
I'm trying not to get into that. I'm trying to put my filter on, guys. Listen, if I take my filter off, it's literally I'm going to break so many rules on the FCC world right now.
Wait a second. You have a filter. The guy that changed his diaper on air has a filter.
Yes.
The guy that was
inebriated
inebriated and digging through his refrigerator like Sasquatch in the middle of freaking winter has a filter.
Jack Links,
That's
baby.
a new one. That's a new one. I've heard it all now. I'm turning my mic off.
Oh, it works. So that's what it takes. Damn it.
Can I just say, seeing you guys both, seeing your beautiful faces helps immensely with knowing when to talk, when not to talk. This is just beautiful.
Guys, we're in the 21st century of technology now. I love it.
Dude, it takes me a while. Okay, it's not that I don't have access to it, but there's this thing, even in the 21st century, you need to have, it's called cash. I ain't got it.
I thought you said electricity. I didn't know if you guys just got it in your town.
Listen, I ain't got the cash. I ain't got the smarts.
Straight cash, homie.
A little known fact for the first and goalers, I've been letting Jay call me this entire time. I have not put in forth any effort whatsoever on the technological side of this
Philly fans.
show. So that's just me admitting that, throwing that out there for you. I'm a voice. I am a beautiful face. And that's all I choose to be.
For radio.
So, guys, we got games tomorrow. And believe it or not, within the next 12 hours or so, we have an NFL game happening.
Finally, an early game on the weekend. I love the London games that early.
Fish and chips, Big Ben, jolly old.
Give me a stout.
Earl Grey. Let's just.
Really? The tea's freaking nasty.
We're hopping on the double-decker. We're taking it all the way down to the O2, and we're playing. I don't even know if that's where the game is.
Baby.
The Kyle Allen and the Carolina New Look Panthers taking on famous Jameis And these Bruce Arians Tampa Bay Buccaneers injury report looks like this. A lot of guys are questionable for the Panthers that don't really affect fantasy in a true way, except for guard Trey Turner, who's still out. You've got McCaffrey with the back stiffness, but he's going to play. On the Buccaneers side of the ball, everyone relevant is in. You can start up everyone. O.J. Howard, as usual, is going to be a risky play. I don't know if you guys saw that baseball highlight of his that everyone's been making a huge deal of, which is hilarious. But, yeah, I mean, D, as the Mike Evans owner, how are you treating this week?
I don't know. 1 week I get 30, 1 week I get 2. I don't know. I really don't know. Just like DeAndre Hopkins, 3 weeks ago I get like 19, 20 points. Next week after that I get 6. Next week I get 2.6. You're telling me, as a guy who picks back-to-back, somehow DeAndre Hopkins falls in his lap with like the fourth or fifth pick, and then you have Mike Evans falls in the second pick, but no.
Dave, in any other year, you hit the receiver jackpot.
Yes, it really
and you
would've.
crapped out on him so far. Here's the deal.
I didn't crap out. I didn't put up 2.6 yards.
No. Here's the deal. I mean, come on. The playoffs aren't until week 13. You're fine.
No, I got that, but in another
RELAX. Relax, baby.
No, in another league, just listen to this wide receiver lineup. I have Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, and DeAndre Hopkins. But yet, it's like only one of 3 receivers goes ahead and works out for that week. I don't get it.
Honestly, I think we touched on this last episode, but just think about the top tier wide receivers and what they are giving you so far. You've got Julio Jones not scoring touchdowns. Michael Thomas and Juju Smith-Schuster, both missing their Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You've got
Teddy's
Odell.
Still getting the ball, though. That's the thing. Teddy's still doing it.
Michael Thomas has done much better than Juju. You can say that. Antonio Brown, who was drafted in the second round in most leagues, out of the NFL. You've got Mike Evans giving you a goose egg. You've got, who else was I? Devontae Adams, banged up, just gave you a career yardage high. But now he's missing a few weeks. I mean, Tyreek Hill banged up. It's been absolutely ridiculous for wide receivers if you invested early this year.
DJ Chark.
Yeah, you got guys like DJ Chark, Cortland Sutton. I mean, Amari Cooper is on your team, and he's been putting up some pretty consistent weeks.
You told me you wouldn't do anything, sir.
I did, and, as a Cowboy, he leaves a bad taste in my mouth to begin with. But then...
That's what she said.
You've got a tough call here for the rest of the season. I mean, Cortland Sutton is an emerging guy in this offense. Flacco's starting to look his way, more so than Emmanuel Sanders, it seems like. And you're going to have to play this game of, can I stick in Mike Evans or Amari Cooper? And, it's a good problem to have, but.
We'll see. I mean, Carolina's defense is pretty good, man. That's the thing. Carolina's secondary is not letting up a lot. They're giving up a decent amount, but not a lot.
So, would you rather play? Well, that's a stupid question.
Yeah, the Cooper's playing the Jets defense. I mean, yes, I'm going to put in Cooper on that, but Sutton's also playing the Tennessee Titans, and I don't know which version of the Titans we're getting. So, yeah, I'm in a 3-way swing here.
No, that's true. And I was actually going to would you rather play Godwin or Evans? But, of course, at this point in the season, I mean, you almost have to trust Chris Godwin over Evans, right? I mean, he seems to be the number one now.
If you're just going to push the knife in my back, just make sure he goes in deep.
Well, that's for all fantasy owners. I mean, I know it's hard to swallow. It's tough to believe in. Mike Evans is a bigger name, and he's been a better player throughout his career. Obviously, he's got more years under his belt. But at this point, with all of the targets coming Chris Godwin's way, and it's not like Mike Evans isn't getting looked at. I mean, Jameis is throwing him the ball. He's just missing. So
I'm wondering if Arians is just using him as a decoy too, because they knew they were going to throw double coverage on him, and Godwin gets the one-on-ones.
I think that's part of it. That's part of it too. But I mean, it's not like you would rather have the slot receiver. You know, you wouldn't rather have